Okay, I don't look tan. Hi, I'm Iliza Shlesinger, a comedian, and today we're going to be doing an experiment in Zoom. There we are. So we're gonna have a bunch of people who are waiting in a Zoom waiting room. I don't know who these people are. I haven't seen them. They don't know that I'm here, but these people are gonna come in with their acts, their material, whatever they've cobbled together, and they're gonna perform it for me and you here in Zoom. They have 20 seconds, and I'll tell you why they're funny or why they're not funny, and hopefully you guys are gonna learn some things about comedy along the way. All right, let's do this.
All right, Gianmarco, you can go into the main room. Okay. First person's coming in, Iliza.
All right.
Oh, hello. Oh.
It's starting.
Hi, I'm Italian, and we do a lot of hugging. We kiss each other goodbye. We used to, at least. And my roommate, who's not Italian, when he first saw my dad and I kiss, he was just like, ew. Do you kiss your dad in public? And I was like, yeah, you know, it'd be weird if I only kissed him in private. Good.
He had a good premise.
I'm Italian. We do a lot of hugging. We kiss each other goodbye.
He had a good setup.
Do you kiss your dad in public?
And he had good timing, so I was waiting for that punchline.
And I was like, yeah, you know, it'd be weird if I only kissed him in private.
Plus, the second he said he's Italian, I was like, this could either be really hacky or it's one I hadn't heard before. All right, next one. All right, hit that clock.
Hey, I just want people to be better at racism. That's pretty much all I want. If you're going to be racist to me, don't just call me a terrorist. That's very lazy. I'd be a terrible terrorist. I can't keep a secret. That's a really important part of terrorism. You got a couple drinks in me, I'll tell you anything you want to know. If I was a terrorist, I would have screwed everything up September 8th. I would have ruined the whole thing.
It was too much setup.
If you're going to be racist to me, don't just call me a terrorist. That's very lazy. I'd be a terrible terrorist.
If you say to me from the beginning, like, if you're going to be racist, don't be lazy about it, then I'm dying to hear. I'm like, how are white people lazy about it? But he didn't stay in the pocket. He set up all of these things, and then the payoff was like a pfft.
If I was a terrorist, I would have screwed everything up September 8th.
Like, barely at the end. Look, this isn't easy. Having a timer in your face ticking down is not normal, and it adds pressure and it adds stress. But that is a huge part of being a stand-up comic, and that's why we've put it here. Hello there.
Hi.
Hi. You have 20 seconds to impress me.
So originally I submitted a video talking about how I've been low-key thriving throughout the quarantine. But then yesterday my internet went out for 20 minutes and I literally thought that the world was ending. But then when it didn't, I immediately tried to buy crochet needles online, but then I couldn't because my bank account was in the negative. So instead I just gave myself bangs and I started crying.
That's funny. That's funny. A big part of comedy is seeing something that's bright and shiny and awesome and then watching it unravel. Whether it's Chris Farley as Matt Foley starting off okay and then smashing into a coffee table, or somebody starting off great like in Trading Places and then descending into being a total homeless mess. For her, she started with,
I've been low-key thriving throughout the quarantine.
Which was a lie. And then we watched one bad thing beget the next.
But then yesterday my internet went out for 20 minutes.
And then we wanted to see how's our character, how's our hero gonna get herself out of it.
So instead I just gave myself bangs and I started crying.
What isn't funny is her redeeming herself and being like, and in the end, I made $1 million. What is funny is seeing how she makes it even worse by being like, and then I cut my own bangs, which is crazy, but relatable because every girl has done it.
Someone just told me to go back to where I come from, which is very weird because I'm just white and gay, which means that this guy thinks there's a country where gay people come from, which means he knows about Canada.
That's funny. It's been done before, the go back to where you come from and then they say why. That's an insane thing to say to a person. So we're taking racism and turning it on its ear.
Which is very weird because I'm just white and gay.
The Canada is gay joke has been around forever. So for me, what worked was the delivery.
Which means he knows about Canada.
A big part of comedy is saying things that have been said before, but in a new way. So while it wasn't the most revelatory joke, he had a fun delivery, and funny is funny.
Hey everybody, it's your man Steve Harvey. Now, even though we are quarantined right now, you gotta look fly. And that's why I have my wife put an extra button on my suit here, so I look extra fly for it. Oh, damn. Y'all can see I ain't wearing no damn pants. God damn it, where the hell's the button to turn this shit off?
The key to what made that funny was simplicity. We've all seen Steve Harvey impressions. Kenan does them on SNL really well. This guy, the second I saw him, I saw the thick mustache and the bald head and the suit. I was like, that's Steve Harvey. The mustache lets you know that. And it was simple.
Hey everybody, it's your man Steve Harvey.
We all know Steve Harvey wears a lot of buttons on his suits.
And that's why I have my wife put an extra button on my suit here.
And to be honest, I was so distracted by the buttons, I didn't even realize he wasn't wearing pants.
Oh, damn. Y'all can see I ain't wearing no damn pants.
So that was a nice little tag at the end. It's simple, it's easy, he nailed it, and that was that. It's math. Okay, what's next?
Oh, Kirby, that was beautiful.
Costumes are a tricky thing because there's always the uncanny valley. There's really two ways you can go. You can either nail it and look just like the character. Drag queens are a great example, whether you're Derrick Barry doing Britney Spears or any drag queen doing Cher or whoever they impersonate. The other version is kind of what this guy did, where you look nothing like the character. He was a dude in a beard with like a cheap plastic wig and odd looking pig ears. It gave him even a wider berth to do something weird. If it was actually Miss Piggy doing it, that might just be so uncomfortable nobody wanted to watch it. Falling off camera, though, is always funny.
This is my mom on every vacation. That's pretty. Oh, that's pretty, hon. Isn't that pretty? Oh, is that a church? That's pretty. Why didn't you tell me you were gay sooner?
Everybody loves to make fun of their parents. Everybody likes to watch people making fun of their parents. He moved the hair to the side. He's like, this is my mom on every vacation. I was like, great. We're going to get some insight. Maybe the mom has a fun accent or she's got this quirky personality. And instead, the mom just sounded like a drag queen who smokes too many cigarettes.
That's pretty.
This one was all about expectation versus delivery. By the way, a real act takes time. You've got to craft it. It's still an art form. It's something you need to work at. So these people are coming in raw with just the basics. I guarantee the next time they tell this joke, it'll be just that much better. And that's how you build an act. 20 seconds on the clock. Please impress me.
Of course. Am I going? So this is my impression of a parrot taking a bath.
What was that part?
The fridge.
What?
The body's in the fridge. The body's in the fridge.
The body's in the fridge is a hilarious punchline. It's a total misdirect because we didn't expect the parrot to say that. That being said, if you're gonna set up...
This is my impression of a parrot taking a bath.
I was so excited to see a great parrot impression. That would have meant more to me than the punchline. A great animal impression is always a hit at parties. Unfortunately, he lost me because it just looked like he had lost control of his neck. To me, the funniest part of the whole bit is that he had a landline that was going nuts. Like, who gets that many calls on a landline?
All right. Okay, I'm going to do a couple impressions. This is an Australian person who's really into conspiracy theories. 9/11 was an inside job. Okay, so that's that one. Here's another one. Brene Brown is my favorite comedian. That's me failing to connect with my peers due to a fundamental misunderstanding of what a comedian is.
Whoa! Shots fired! The tricky thing with name checking someone who isn't Beyonce or the president is that you run the risk of not everyone in the room knowing who that person is.
Brene Brown is my favorite comedian.
And then to take it even further, you shouldn't have to have firsthand knowledge of what the comic is talking about for them to make it relatable. Women talk about being women and men still find it funny, and vice versa, because the material itself is very funny. A trick to being a comic is conveying the connections in your mind that lead to funny thoughts perfectly to your audience so they can come on that journey with you.
You'd think guys online dating would make more of an effort because you only get one chance to make a good first impression. Here are actual messages I received within 2 weeks.
Is it all from the same person?
No.
Even if you've never really done online dating, as I haven't, I still have seen people deal with those. And it's enough in the zeitgeist that you know how painful that is. I'd never seen someone print out the messages and hold them up. But as she was doing it, I could see, I've gotten DMs that are like that. Like, hello, miss. As she was doing that, I started getting angry for her. I'm like, what do these guys think they're doing? So I laughed at her because I felt her pain, and comedy is pain.
All right, my name is Nate Diggin, and this is beer roulette instead of comedy roulette. I'm going to close my eyes. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Ah, it was the pee again, wasn't it? It was a, damn it. I drank the pee again. It's the fifth time this week I drank the pee.
Sorry, you drank the pee. It's perennially funny, the sort of sad frat boy willing to do anything. The problem with that gag is that it's a bit of a sight gag and that one of those is labeled pee, but I was so focused, to his credit, on him and what he was doing, I thought all of those said beer.
Ah, it was the pee again, wasn't it?
Then I had to stop watching him, which you never want because you're not a magician. I don't want to look at your hands. I want to look at you. And I had to read that it actually said pee.
I drank the pee again. It's the fifth time this week I drank the pee.
You never want to give the audience a reason to stop focusing on you.
Damn it!
You go watch Carrot Top. You see the whole thing is about what he's saying and the props. You never have to watch Carrot Top explain anything. The props tell the joke. But drinking pee is funny, if it's actually pee. Hi.
Smurf meat is the veal of the mythical world, marinated in its own blood and tears. Don't throw out the bones. They can be ground and fried into tortillas. I plucked Smurf pubic hair for this quill. Don't be afraid to really milk those sebaceous glands for perfume oil.
The good thing about this was his props were specific. He had his premise. He was like, we've murdered a Smurf, and here's how we will break down the body. Like the Native Americans, he's going to use every part. So morbid as it is, it at least was on brand. One of the things you have to keep in mind when doing comedy, and this doesn't come for a couple years, but in the back of your mind is, why are you telling this joke? That's why people tell jokes about their parents coming from other countries or your home life or personal things about dating, because these are things that make you unique that you want to put out there. Or is it simply that you want to be seen on a stage? And if so, you've got to dig a little bit deeper. We all want to be seen. The question is, why should people be watching us? Hi there. 20 seconds to impress me. Also, you are sideways.
Okay. At the beginning of the quarantine, I decided to go to a movie theater because there was nobody there. So when I saw some jacko decide to sit right in front of me, I said, oh, I'm going to give him a big old popcorn explosion. Oh, wait, I'm explode everywhere. And he left.
I am the queen of fast delivery. I am the queen of looking just frantic on stage. I like to think I've been doing it long enough that it's become just my vibe and my product. One of the things that you don't want to do in comedy is seem uncomfortable. And it was so frantic and the delivery was so fast. All I remember was the popcorn going everywhere.
I'm explode everywhere.
And if you're going to have popcorn go everywhere, commit to it. Like, the walls of the room should come down. It should be that the popcorn is hot. There's something to be said for creating the expectation that what's about to happen is going to be outlandish and crazy. If you deliver anything just short of that, your audience will always be disappointed.
What is Alanis Morissette's favorite jelly? A traffic jam when she's already late. I'm going to open up a store that only sells irons, and I'm going to call it Isn't It Ironic? And I'm going to open up another store and call that one A Little Too Ironic. Yeah, I really do think.
The second he brought up the premise of Alanis Morissette, my mind just turned off. Now, if you go far enough back in time, like, you know what the problem with the plague was? Maybe I might tune in. To me, the funniest part was the, like, yeah, I do at the end.
Yeah, I really do think.
That was the only part where I saw any of his personality. The most important thing in comedy is to fail and keep going because you know you have something to say. If you think it's uncomfortable to bomb in front of one person, try actually doing this in the real world if we ever get to leave our houses again.
Iliza! Congrats on all your success. You know, the Netflix show, specials, and now you're doing Zoom calls with the guy whose biggest credit is this Zoom call. What do you have tomorrow? A homeless telethon?
Where are they going to get the phones?
No idea.
So what I loved about this is that he made fun of me. Comics love that. We love ball breaking from the highest light. If you look at any of the Dean Martin roasts or Don Rickles, the problem was, A, he asked me, his audience, to engage, and I wasn't sure if it was rhetorical or not, so I felt like I stepped on him.
Iliza! Congrats on all your success.
And B, my heckle back was just as good as his joke to me, which is fine if you're in a roasting environment, but I'm in the audience. If you're going to insult someone, you don't want there to be a comeback.
America, what is wrong? I was watching TV the other day in my mansion. I am a dictator. And there was an ad. It said, for $1 a day, I can sponsor a quarantined American. Africa is the first world now, bitch.
You never want to bring up something sad. This is why Holocaust punchlines are never funny. This is why spousal abuse punchlines, abortion punchlines, the joke's gotta be fire. For people to laugh so much that they're removed from the fact that they're thinking about something sad and personal. That was a very long setup for a very short punchline at the end, which would be great if the setup were fun. If the joke leaves you thinking about the premise and setup more than the punchline, it's not a successful joke.
Wait, oh my God, wait, I don't know how to work this. Sorry, that's my 7th grade photo when I was a blonde. Oh no, that's me eating trash pasta out of the subway. I don't know how to use Zoom, I'm sorry.
Sometimes when you're too frantic, and I've made a living off of being frantic on stage, while it was weird, that is not so funny. The good news is some of these people want to be funny, and you can see the want in their eyes. Desperation is a key characteristic in being a comedian, so they're partially there. So that was a really cool experiment. And the fascinating and the best part about comedy is that it is 100% subjective. So just because I wasn't laughing, I don't know, maybe some of you were laughing. And maybe the things that I laughed at, you guys thought, not so funny. The truth is though, there's no right or wrong answer. That's why there's so many comedians and so many types of comedy. So I give a big round of applause to all the people, all the comedians, IW comedians, that showed up today and tried to make us laugh. Because at the end of the day, you're still watching this, which means it was entertaining, which means it was successful.